evening and welcome once again to the Mask Fan Attic, where we look for cool, interesting old Halloween masks. I don't know if you can hear this on your home monitor, but it sounds like there's a typhoon outside that's going to blow the whole place down anytime. But don't worry, you'll be fine. I'll be the guy that gets blown over into Seneca County. You'll be okay. But anyway, tonight's mask, wow, folks, it's both Jim and Dandy, both hunky and dory, both peachy and keen. It's an Astro Zombie. That's right, an Astro Zombie. And by the way, that is hyphenated. So you got that's A-S-T-R-O-Z-O-M-B-I-E. See, you got to put the hyphen in there because that's the official spelling. Anyway, the Astro Zombies was a movie that came out in 1968. Actually, it came out shortly before the legendary Night of the Living Dead, believe it or rot. And Astro Zombies, directed by Ted V. Michaels. And I know people say Mickles sometimes in the horror world because it's spelled M-I-K-E-L-S, but I'm pretty sure he actually pronounces it Michaels, just like the Arts and Crafts store. But it's not spelled this. Yeah, okay. Astro Zombies was, well, a movie that didn't get a sequel for a very long time, but by golly, in 2002, Mark of the Astro Zombies came out, and then a few years after that, there were still more sequels. But they went from 1968 to 2002 without a sequel. I think the only other movie that's gone that long without any sequels and then picked up a series again, I think would be Psycho. And I bet I'm now the first guy in the history of the world to have just compared the Astro Zombies to Psycho. But, and I'm proud of that fact. No. Anyway, now this particular mask came out in 2008, and there were only 75 of them made, and it was actually licensed. It's a licensed mask by Bump in the Night Productions, sculpted by Chuck Jarman, head honcho and evil overlord of Bump in the Night, which is now called Bump in the Night Effects as opposed to Productions, by the way. But actually licensed mask. Can you believe it? An Astro Zombie? For real? Yes. And it looks great. It looks just like in the movie, with a couple of exceptions. In the film, this mouth area here, instead of being part of the mask painted black, this was cut out and there was a piece of mesh, like screen, over the mouth area. And the eyes had plastic eye lenses, except when they would fall out. If you're watching the movie sometime, notice the scene where one of the Astro Zombies is attacking a woman in a bedroom. The mask doesn't have its eye lenses in at that point, but then when he goes outside a minute later, it does. Right now, if you're thinking to yourself, Astro Zombies, have I ever seen that movie? Well, here's what you'd remember is, if you don't remember this, for crying out loud, the other thing you'd remember is that the zombies are solar powered. So this guy, at one point, when he runs out of power, he steals a flashlight and holds it onto his forehead to press it to the solar cells here. That's true. The movie that tells you that the power stored in a couple of D batteries could actually energize a 6'4" hulking maniac with a machete. But yeah, 2008, 75 copies made. I recommend it. Great quality mask, great paint job, looks just like the ones in the movie. The only thing that might be a little bit different is I think in the movie these two solar cells were maybe down a little closer to the third one, so maybe the triangle was a little smaller. So I think you could tell from that whether or not it's one that was actually used in the movie or the Bump in the Night edition. And for our amazing second free bonus mask tonight, I'm going to show you a mask from the sequel, Mark of the Astro Zombies. That's this guy, and it's true that in the original they were sort of this tan, yellowy tan bone color, but in Mark of the Astro Zombies they were green. A little bit different color, but more or less the same design, very similar, very much the same in most respects. And oddly enough, the Bump in the Night is, in this case, if I may quote from U2, that's not U2, that's the band U2, even better than the real thing, because this is an excellent quality mask, very nicely done, whereas this one, which is actually from the original molds and etc. from the sequel, is kind of thin and flimsy and doesn't have much paint on it and isn't all that exciting. It does, however, have the mesh screen in the mouth, and you know why I keep it? I just badmouth the mask in my own collection. You know why I keep it? Here's why. See there? It's actually signed to me by none other than the cool Ted V. Michaels. creator of the Astro Zombies universe. Now, I don't know how many of these were produced. There were a few on eBay for a while in the early 2000s. You could get these as prop replicas directly from the people who did the makeup for the movie. But again, it's kind of thin and flimsy, not the greatest quality mask or mask latex, so I don't know how long it's going to last. But hey, I've already had it since 2002, so that's pretty good, huh? And here we are once again, 2 zombies, no waiting. Shop and compare the Astro Zombies Collector Edition mask from Bump of the Night and the sequel mask, actually from original molds. And as you can see, I've got this on a male mannequin head, so you should be able to see a little bit of his mouth in there, which is more like a more accurate replication of the way it looked in the movie, because behind the screen you could sometimes tell there was a mouth in there. You could see the flesh of the mouth of the human head that was inside the synthetic head of the Astro Zombie, which is really more like a cyborg or an android than a zombie. By zombie, they were talking about somebody that will unswervingly, blindly obey every order without question. That's the kind of zombie, not the Living Dead kind exactly. But he's partly made of body parts, partly made of synthetic internal organs and synthetic blood and stuff, which in the movie were all devised by a mad scientist played by none other than John Carradine. So that's pretty much all your Astro Zombie story for tonight. Join us here again next week in the Mask Fan Attic.